Welcome back to the English Learning Podcast. I'm Nancy, and this is Brian. Today, we're diving into a topic that's incredibly important for your English learning journey: mindset, the way you think when learning this language. Whether you're just starting or have been learning English for a while, your mindset is a key factor in whether you progress quickly or slowly.
That's right, Nancy. Have you ever felt hesitant to speak English because you're afraid of making mistakes? Have you ever thought, I'll never be good at English, or felt like you need to be perfect when speaking? If you've ever had thoughts like that, you're definitely not alone. And today, we want to tell you something. You can totally change that, simply by changing your mindset.
Exactly. So how can the right mindset help you overcome those fears and speak English with more confidence? Stay tuned for this episode as we explore how mindset affects your English learning and how you can shift your mindset to make quicker progress. Let's start with a simple question, Brian. Can you explain to our listeners what mindset is?
Of course, Nancy. Mindset, in its simplest form, is the way you think about something. It's your attitude and belief system when you face a challenge. When it comes to learning English, mindset refers to how you perceive and feel about your ability to learn and speak the language.
So, if you think you can't learn English, that's a mindset too, right?
Exactly. Mindset can have a huge impact on the way you act. And when we talk about learning English, there are two main types of mindset we encounter: fixed mindset and growth mindset.
Let's start with the fixed mindset. People with this mindset believe that their abilities are fixed and cannot be changed. For example, they might think, I'm just not good at English, or I'll never be fluent. These beliefs make them feel helpless and reluctant to try.
That's right. People with a fixed mindset limit themselves and are afraid to challenge their own capabilities. They avoid speaking because they fear failing or making mistakes. For example, they may avoid participating in conversations because they think they won't be able to keep up or that they'll say something wrong.
And this is where growth mindset comes in. People with a growth mindset believe that they can improve over time with practice and effort. Instead of thinking, I'm bad at English, they'll think, speaking English is hard for me right now, but I can get better with perseverance.
Exactly. A growth mindset is the belief that learning and improvement are possible. It's about recognizing that, while you may not be fluent yet, you can always grow and develop with time and effort.
So, mindset development is a strong belief in continuous learning and improvement, right?
Yes. And with a growth mindset, you won't let mistakes stop you. Instead, you'll see them as learning opportunities. For example, instead of avoiding speaking because you're afraid of making mistakes, you'll be bold and speak. And when you do make mistakes, you'll learn from them and improve over time.
Exactly. And the key takeaway is that with a growth mindset, we don't fear failure. We embrace it because we know it's part of the journey.
Now, let's talk about how mindset affects your ability to speak English. If you have a fixed mindset, you'll avoid speaking because you're afraid of making mistakes. But the truth is, no one speaks English perfectly, not even native speakers.
Right. When you have a growth mindset, you accept mistakes as part of the learning process. You embrace them and move forward. If you believe you can improve, you will practice, take risks, and speak up. But if you believe you can't improve, you will avoid speaking, and that will prevent you from learning.
Exactly. So, if you want to improve, you need to focus on action and practice. The more you practice, the better you'll get. And the only way to practice is to speak, even if it feels uncomfortable at first.
And think about it like this. If you believe that you can improve, you're more likely to take action. You'll practice speaking, engage in conversations, and challenge yourself. But if you think that you can't improve, you'll stay silent, and you won't get any better.
Right. And this is where mindset really matters. Your mindset shapes how you approach speaking English. If you have a growth mindset, you'll be confident and proactive. If you have a fixed mindset, you'll hold back and avoid speaking. So mindset truly plays a big role in whether or not you succeed in learning English.
The important thing is that mindset can be changed. You don't have to stay stuck in a fixed mindset. With a little work and practice, you can shift to a growth mindset, and that can make all the difference in how you learn and speak English.
Now, let's dive into how to shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. The first step is to embrace mistakes. I know this might sound a bit strange, but it's true. The more you accept that mistakes are part of the learning process, the less afraid you'll be to speak.
Exactly, Brian. If you're afraid of making mistakes, you'll avoid speaking, which means you won't improve. But when you start seeing mistakes as opportunities to learn, you'll be more comfortable speaking and trying new things.
And when you do make a mistake, don't beat yourself up. Celebrate the fact that you're practicing. Mistakes are a sign of growth. You're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's how learning happens.
Another shift is to stop focusing on perfection and start focusing on communication. Instead of thinking, I have to speak perfectly, try thinking, I just want to get my message across. Remember, people care more about understanding you than about your grammar being perfect.
Exactly. And even if you make a small mistake, if your message is clear, people will understand. The goal of speaking English is not to be perfect, but to communicate.
Now that we've talked about shifting your mindset, let's look at some daily habits that can help you build confidence in speaking English. The first habit is to start small every day. Don't overwhelm yourself with big goals. Just practice speaking for 5 to 10 minutes each day. That consistency will make a huge difference over time.
Right. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. When you build small habits into your routine, it's easier to stay motivated, and you'll start feeling more comfortable with the language the more you practice.
Another great habit is to talk to yourself in English. You don't always need a partner to practice. Try describing your day, talking to yourself about what you're doing, or even thinking in English. It's a great way to get used to forming sentences and speaking aloud without pressure.
I think a lot of people forget about this one. Talking to yourself might feel strange at first, but it's an easy and private way to practice, and you'll start to notice that it becomes more natural over time.
Another powerful habit is to listen to English every day. Whether it's podcasts, movies, music, or YouTube videos, exposing yourself to English content will help you develop a natural feel for the language. Plus, it builds confidence in understanding English when you hear it spoken.
Yes, the more you listen, the more familiar the language becomes. Listening is just as important as speaking. You don't need to understand every word. Just keep absorbing the sounds, rhythm, and flow of English.
And don't forget to set realistic goals. It could be something simple like, this week, I'll learn 5 new vocabulary words, or I'll have a 10-minute conversation in English by the end of the week. The key here is to celebrate your wins, no matter how small.
Exactly. These small wins add up over time and help keep you motivated. And one final habit is to surround yourself with English. Whether it's joining online communities, chatting with language partners, or following English content creators on social media, being around English as much as possible makes it easier to stay immersed and practice consistently.
Definitely, the more you surround yourself with the language, the more natural it will feel to speak it. And the best part is that it doesn't always feel like work. It can actually be really fun. Here's the content in English as requested. One of the biggest barriers we face when learning English is the fear of making mistakes. You may fear that if you say the wrong word or use incorrect grammar, others will laugh at you or judge you. However, the truth is, everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. Mistakes are an essential part of the learning process and are a sign that you are trying and learning.
Exactly, Nancy. We all make mistakes when learning English, but mistakes are opportunities for improvement. If you don't make mistakes, you won't know what to improve. Mistakes are an important part of learning.
Another psychological barrier is the fear of being judged. You might think everyone is watching you and waiting for you to make a mistake. But the truth is, most people are too busy with their own conversations to notice you. They're not paying as much attention to you as you think. To overcome these fears, the first step is to accept mistakes. When you accept that mistakes are part of the learning process, you will reduce the fear when speaking English. Brian, exactly, Nancy? Accepting that mistakes are natural in learning helps you feel less paralyzed when speaking. Next, focus on communication instead of perfection. Your goal is to convey your message, not speak perfectly. Don't let mistakes stop you. Just keep speaking and learn from them. To build confidence, you need to practice every day. Here are some habits you can start today. 1. Start small. Spend 5 to 10 minutes a day practicing English. Consistency, even in small amounts, will lead to big results. 2. Talk to yourself. Describe your work, thoughts, or daily activities in English. This is a great way to practice without a partner. 3. Listen to English every day. Expose yourself to English through podcasts, movies, music, etc. to get used to the rhythm and sounds of the language.
Each small daily habit will help you become more confident and improve your ability to communicate. Remember to accept mistakes, focus on communication, and practice every day to build your confidence. Mistakes are an important part of the learning process, and with persistence, you'll see great progress in your ability to speak English.
Thank you for listening. Start changing your mindset and practicing every day. You can do it.